Once upon a time, in a little village at the edge of a deep, dark forest, there lived an old man named Timon. Timon was different from the other villagers. He could not see, but he could feel the world around him in special ways. Though blind, Timon knew things that no one else could. The villagers called him the blind seer because he could see the future and tell what would happen. Everyone in the village came to him when they had a problem or were scared about the future. Timon lived in a small wooden house with his dog, Bark, who helped guide him everywhere. One sunny morning, a little boy named Max visited Timon. Max was worried because his father was leaving to hunt in the forest, and the forest was known to be very dangerous. Max had heard stories of hunters who never came back. The trees were thick, and strange animals lived there. "Timon, can you tell me if my father will come back safely?" Max asked with tears in his eyes. Timon smiled gently and placed a hand on Max's head. "Do not worry, young Max," he said softly. "Your father will return, but you must be brave and patient. The forest has its secrets, but it will not harm him." Max left Timon's house feeling a little better. He trusted Timon's words, even though the fear of the forest still troubled him. Days passed, and Max waited by the village gate every evening, hoping to see his father walk through. Timon, sitting in his house, could feel the boy's worry from far away. Meanwhile, strange things were happening in the forest. A group of villagers had gone missing, and no one knew where they had gone. The villagers became scared, and they all rushed to Timon, asking him what was happening. Timon listened carefully to their worries. He sat quietly for a while, and then, as if seeing with his heart, he said, "The forest is restless because it feels something is not right. Someone must go and calm it, or more will be lost." The villagers were too scared to enter the forest themselves, but Max, remembering what Timon had told him, knew what he had to do. He gathered his courage and told his mother, "I'm going to find Dad." Though she was afraid, she knew the boy had a brave heart, and she let him go, praying for his safety. Max entered the dark forest with only Bark the dog by his side. The trees seemed to whisper, and shadows moved around him. Max was scared, but he remembered Timon's words, and they gave him strength. As he walked deeper into the forest, strange creatures with glowing eyes appeared, watching him from behind the bushes. But they did not harm him. Bark growled a little, but Max gently patted his head and said, "It's okay, we're not here to hurt anyone." And so, the creatures let them pass. After hours of walking, Max reached a big, old tree at the heart of the forest. The air was thick with magic, and the tree seemed alive, glowing faintly. Max realized this must be the heart of the forest, the place Timon had spoken of. "Hello," Max called softly. "I'm looking for my dad." The tree rustled, and suddenly a gentle voice whispered in the wind, "The forest has been lonely and misunderstood. It took your father because it thought he would harm it. But you, little one, you have a kind heart. You have shown the forest that not all humans wish it harm." The ground shook a little, and the roots of the tree parted, revealing Max's father, safe but asleep under the tree's roots. "Dad," Max cried. The roots slowly let go of his father, and he woke up. "Max, how did you find me?" his father asked, surprised but happy to see his brave son. Max smiled and hugged his dad. "I knew you were okay because Timon told me so," Max said. "But the forest needed someone to listen to it. It's not bad, it just wanted to be heard." Together, they walked out of the forest with Bark leading the way. The creatures watched them leave, and this time, Max smiled at them, knowing they were no longer enemies. When they returned to the village, everyone cheered and hugged Max and his father. Timon, sitting quietly in his house, smiled softly, knowing the boy had done what the villagers were too afraid to do. Max had shown kindness and bravery, and the forest was at peace once more. From that day on, Max became known as the boy who calmed the forest, and Timon, the blind seer, continued to live in his small house with Bark, always ready to help those who needed his wisdom. The villagers learned that sometimes the answers to their fears were not found in fighting or running away, but in listening and understanding. And so, the village lived in peace, with the dark forest no longer a place of fear, but a place of mystery and magic, thanks to a little boy's brave heart.